The Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox is sponsored by Subway, home of the famous $5 footlong. Subway, race hard, eat fresh. By Ask.com, where do NASCAR fans get answers? Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR. By the all-new 09 F-150. It's not just a new truck, it's a new F-150. And by Sprint, NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile. It'll change the way you experience the race.
Mark Martin started on pole, and he's trying to run away from the field. There he is with a 1.6-second lead over Kurt Busch. Kyle Busch has dropped from second to fifth in just 3 laps. We'll update him in a moment. Here's a question from Ask.com, official search engine of NASCAR. Why do we have military flyovers at the NASCAR races? Get the answer now at Ask.com and enter the Ask.com NASCAR Challenge for a chance to win a trip to Talladega.
And Mike, it is a little noisy up here. There's no question about that. And I'm sure the fans at home hear all that noise. But remember, we got 35,000 horses going by here every lap.
Bobby Labonte right now running in the 36th position, only about 9 or 10 seconds in front of leader Mark Martin.
Darrell, look at this lead that Mark Martin has built up over Kurt Busch, now at about 1.7 seconds.
But I've been watching this 2-car of Kurt Busch. He's making his 300th career start here tonight. Since he cleared his brother Kyle, he's actually been just a little quicker than Mark Martin.
And a couple of cars behind him that are pretty darn quick too is the 12 and the 24. They're all pretty close together, but the 12 and the 24 look like they got it going on too.
Tell you who doesn't have it going on, though. Mike mentioned just a second ago is Kyle Busch in that 18 car. Chris Devoto was telling us that he started complaining about lap 10. His car wouldn't turn in the middle of the corner. He was turning the steering wheel. The front wheels were just sliding.
He pitted last night in the Nationwide race because he thought he had a right front tire going down. That's how bad his car was. He got 2 laps down. He got them back, but there wasn't anything wrong with the car.
And you know, honestly, Mike, he was not that good. Talking about Kyle Busch in the practices yesterday, I think he just really laid down a fast qualifying run.
You know why he struggles on tracks like this? You know why? You got to use brakes. He doesn't like to use brakes. I mean, I know that his teammates say they look at his telemetry. They're hard on brake. He's rolling in the corner. You got to use a lot of brake here, and it just doesn't fit his driving style.
Meanwhile, his former teammate Tony Stewart is charging hard. He has all but caught Jeff Gordon. Here's Steve Burns.
Mike, the early report from Tony Stewart. Decent on entry, loose the rest of the way through, but that's not to be unexpected. Darian Grubb said they wanted this car to be free early as a way of chasing this racetrack, Dick Berggren.
Well, that's exactly the strategy Jeff Gordon and his crew chief Steve Letarte have adopted as well. They intended to start car number 24 a bit loose, and Gordon has said it is real loose coming off, but as the sun goes down, that could work to their advantage. They anticipate the track tightening the car up.
And there's no question, right now the cars are probably a lot tighter in turn 1 and 2 than they are in turn 3 and 4 because of the sun being in 3 and 4.
Larry, let me ask you a question. How big of a no-brainer would this be if you were Tony Stewart? I'm going to give you half of this racing operation. And oh, by the way, I'm going to get one of the best crew chief engineers that Hendrick has to be your crew chief. And while I'm at it, I'm going to give you Hendrick engines and Hendrick chassis. Do you think you'll be able to be competitive with that?
I think he knew the answer the minute they asked him that.
I think so, too.
I think that's the reason he didn't hesitate with the answer. There's his crew chief right there, Darian Grubb.
There he is.
Mark Martin taking no prisoners. He has led every lap from Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, and Tony Stewart. Welcome back to Phoenix. Mark Martin still leading by 1.2 seconds over Kurt Busch. The number 11 FedEx Office Toyota sporting a special paint scheme tonight in support of the March of Dimes and the annual March for Babies walks. Additionally, Denny Hamlin wearing a special helmet designed by 11-year-old Sonny Van Buskirk of Windsor Locks, Connecticut. Though Sonny's birth weight was just 3 pounds, March of Dimes research has resulted in him leading a healthy life. To participating in helping babies be born healthy, visit marchforbabies.org or FedExRacing.com.
And you know, Mike, normally we talk about the tear offs on the outside of the windshield that the crews pull off. I noticed Denny Hamlin from his end car there, he has a tear off piece of tape. You can see it flopping around up here, right here. That's to get that off when the sun goes down, so he can reach up and tear a piece off himself.
Hamlin in 8th place, 8 seconds off the lead. Make that 7th now as he passes Kyle Busch, his teammate.
say if there's a car that would love to see a caution here pretty quickly, it would be Kyle Busch in that 18 car. He started on the outside of the front row. Now he's moved back to the 8th spot. I think he's going to fall out of the top 10 here pretty quickly.
This is just so reminiscent of what happened to him last night here, Larry. He took off like a rocket and then just faded for a while and had trouble. Recovered late, but not the night I thought he might have.
You know, a car that laid down a great qualifying run yesterday. They run a very limited schedule. They're housed out of Denver, Colorado. Regan Smith in his 78 car. He was our Rookie of the Year last year, driving for Furniture Row Motorsports. He started in the 9th position, and he's still in the top 10. I just feel like this is one of the teams that throttled back, running a limited schedule, built a brand new car for here. They run the Hendrick engines, and obviously they're showing that qualifying run wasn't a fluke.
Oh, I said all along he was a sleeper.
He has never, he has never had a DNF in his Sprint Cup Series career.
What's that? Did not fluff the pillows on that Denver mattress?
Something like that.
Not a good day so far for 3/4 of Richard Childress Racing, including Clint Boyer. He's only lost 2 positions on the racetrack, but Matt, he really seems to be fighting that race car.
You beat him through the center there, but he gets that.
And you can hear Mike Dillon, his spotter, trying to tell Clint what some other drivers who are showing a lot faster time on the racetrack, the different lines they're using. The biggest complaint he has, the car just so free. And then he added to his crew chief, Shane Wilson, I think we also have a warped brake rotor, so issues early on for the man 4th in points.
That's what you're talking about right there, Mike. If you see Kevin Harvick and Casey Mears, in fact, they're not that far out in front of leader Mark Martin as we've been caution-free for 38 laps.
And it's easy to warp a rotor here. You go down this fairly long front straightaway, the brakes cool down quite a bit. And when you slam them on and build heat in that rotor real fast, sometimes it will warp it.
Martin Truex Jr. in the number 1 was great in practice, had a disappointing qualifying run, started this race 26th, but I believe he's our biggest mover. He's moved up 12 spots into 14th.
Yeah, he definitely was one of the best cars in both those practice sessions. It just didn't come to fruition for him during that qualifying run.
Passes Greg Biffle, moves to 13th. Let's get to 3rd place here.
Yeah, it looks like Jeff Gordon is starting to fade just a tad here, Larry. I looked at his lap times. He's fallen off a little bit compared to Tony Stewart and the guys in front of him. Tony is now all over the back of him. I believe Jeff's car has given up a little on him at this point in the run.
And you can see Tony Stewart in the 14 car get a run on the high side through 1 and 2. He's going to get hemmed in behind Elliott Sadler in the 19 car, but Tony's going to squeeze in there.
Threads the needle.
You know, that's because 2 things. He knows Elliott will move up and give him room on the outside, and he knows Jeff Gordon leading the points right now. He's not going to put a fender to him this early in a race.
So Stewart moves to 3rd, 3 seconds behind our race leader.
I said this early in the race.
Mark Martin has now led 3 times as many laps as he led in the first 7 races of this season.